Hey, everybody. Sorry, not sure what happened there. Some technical glitches. We're here to talk about social media issues and legal issues you need to worry about as part of your social media practice and making sure that you don't get yourself in trouble. Again, I am Bobby Klink. I'm from Your Online Genius. A little bit about me. I'm an intellectual property attorney by training, but really I'm an online entrepreneur now. My business, Your Online Genius, is built around the concept of helping other online entrepreneurs protect themselves and make sure that they're not going to get themselves in legal jeopardy. So it's basically to help you protect the platform that you're building online to later sell or make a living from. So that's what the business is about. We provide free resources, etc. This week, we're in a social media theme week. We've got an epic blog post up about legal issues in social media. That's at youronlinegenius.com/blog. You can see that post. And then I'm doing these lives. Yesterday, we talked about images and issues that can come up with images. Today, we're going to talk about, like I said, the rights to publicity or the personality rights and issues that come up there. Now, before I start, I do want to apologize in advance just in case my dogs barked. They're in the office with me today. And today, for the very first time in the 3.5 years I've had this office, the mailman, for some reason, decided he wanted to come in rather than just drop it through the mail slot. And there's a bit of a ruckus about 5 minutes ago. I don't think it'll repeat, but just in case, I apologize now. So let's get on to today's lesson. What we're talking about are personality rights, and personality rights are it's a right that everyone has to control their own name, image, and likeness. So what does that mean? Name, image, likeness. Again, I get to control the name Bobby Klink or Robert Klink, images of myself, and any likeness, so you can't create a caricature of me without it. It varies from state to state, but it is uniform that every state, every person has the right to control those three things: their name, their image, and their likeness. And so you can't appropriate someone else's name, image, or likeness for your own purposes without getting yourself in trouble. A couple of things to think about. This comes up most often in the context of celebrities wanting to protect their name, their image, their likeness, and you can't use a celebrity's name, image, or likeness to imply an endorsement if there's no endorsement. So that's one of the classic examples here. But there's also some more subtle ones, like you've probably watched a reality show at some point and seen in the video in the background, they have images of people walking by and their faces are blurred out. Well, that's because they didn't get a release from those people, and so they can't show their image without running afoul of this principle. So that's why you see that on TV. So let's talk about how this could come up in the context of social media. One of the classic examples that IP lawyers like myself like to talk about is where a big company, Duane Reade, which is a pharmacy chain, made a huge mistake on this ground. And again, I'm sure what happened was it was simply a lower level employee or an employee who was working on the social media team for Duane Reade made this mistake because they just hadn't been trained on this legal issue. What happened was someone took a picture of the actress Katherine Heigl coming out of a Duane Reade. And so someone took a picture of her, like just an individual, and posted it on, I believe it was Twitter, tweeted about it. And so Duane Reade said, hey, this is great for publicity. So they then took the image, which had, the Duane Reade in the background, and I think Katherine Heigl is holding one of their bags. And they actually tweeted about it and said something about how, essentially, even Katherine Heigl, and literally tagged her in it, even Katherine Heigl, has to go on, runs to the store and glad she picks Duane Reade or something to that effect. Katherine Heigl, or more likely probably her publicity team, found out about it and they actually sued, because what Duane Reade was doing there was a classic example of what you can't do. They were trying to imply an endorsement by Katherine Heigl. And you just can't do that, right? She has the right to decide what product she endorses, what product she doesn't endorse. And you can't use the fact, or Duane Reade couldn't use the fact that she had been to the store and someone had taken a picture of her there to then use in their promotions to try to imply this endorsement by this famous actress. So that is a classic example in the social media context, and again, made by a big company. So let's talk about how that might apply in your business. Okay, so you might, for example, get a kind word from a big name online entrepreneur, someone who everybody knows and would give credence to you and would be great social proof, because let's say they send you a nice email that says something wonderful. You can't use that without their permission. You can't say, hey, Joe Smith thinks I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. You just can't do that unless they give you permission, because what you're doing in that context is trying to trade off of that person's name or likeness or image and to get publicity from doing that. And that's just not allowed under any circumstance. So you can't do that. But a subtle thing to think about is that this doesn't just apply to celebrities. It applies to anyone. Literally, if one of your customers, sends you an email thanking you, saying, hey, that was the greatest course I ever took, you can't use it without their permission. They have to release that and say that you can use it as a testimonial, because otherwise you are not, you're not authorized to use it, because you're using their publicity rights or their personality rights without their permission. Again, in the context of a typical customer, that's never going to be an issue, because look, most customers who are going to give you a glowing review are going to be, happy to say, yeah, sure, use it. They're happy that you gave them this great service, so they'll normally allow you to do that without a thing, but without an issue. But you need to get the permission, and it should be in writing. Again, you probably heard me say that a few times, and I'll say it over and over again. When you are getting permission for something or getting an agreement, get it in writing, just so there's no question. So again, another issue you need to think about is if you are making videos for YouTube or for anything else, you can't have other people in the background. If there are other people passing, if you're just out filming something, you're running afoul of their personality rights. And so that's not allowed. You can't do that without blurring. And that's why, again, we use, background like this, that, there's no way you're going to have somebody walking behind me, so I don't have to worry about that issue, but you need to be careful about that issue. So those are some of the big issues. There's a subtler issue that on the legal side, it's not as clear, but it's something you need to think about. People are in the habit of tagging other famous or semi-famous people in their posts. I actually see it ironically in my Facebook feed. Another entrepreneur that I'm friends with on Facebook will post periodically, hey, if you tag me in your post to try to get my followers to see your product or your promotion, I'm going to unfriend you immediately. It's funny to me that people would do that, because it's bad etiquette on top of everything else. But you can't. There's probably also a problem on a legal ground, because you were trying to use that person to almost imply an endorsement of some sort or another. You have to be careful. Again, it's fine, obviously, like this morning on Twitter, I of course tagged, I tweeted this morning about how, a wonderful online entrepreneurs podcast had been wonderfully helpful. That's not a problem, because I'm not implying that, that she endorses me. I'm saying, hey, this is a wonderful, person. You should look at her product. So that's something that's allowed. But if I did it in a way to kind of imply that I was great, or to try to use that entrepreneur's name or her followers to think that there was some kind of endorsement, it creates an issue. So again, those are the things you need to think about. That's all for today. It's a quick lesson today. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, again, I would encourage you, look at the blog post that we've got up on social media issues. And again, that's at youronlinegenius.com/blog. And also, I would say we have a free cheat sheet about the 4 mistakes that could be disastrous and could destroy your business more generally. And you can get that at mistakes.youronlinegenius.com. You go there, you'll be able to download that cheat sheet for free, and it'll help you to understand what are 4 of the most common mistakes that online entrepreneurs make, and what do you need to do instead. So you've got that available to you as well. Until tomorrow, that's it. And tomorrow we will be talking about music and social media, and how, what you need to think about when you are using music in social media. Until then, keep thriving. Thanks.